The courthouse doors swung open with a loud creak. Everyone turned to look. A small girl walked in. She had no shoes on her feet. Her dress was old and dirty. Her dark hair hung down like tangled vines. But her eyes were bright and clear, like she could see right through you. "Who is that?" whispered a man in a suit. "Why is she here?" asked a woman with glasses. The girl didn't stop walking. She moved down the long aisle between the wooden benches. Her bare feet made soft sounds on the cold floor. Step, step, step. At the front of the courtroom sat Judge Randall. He was a big man with gray hair and a black robe. He had been a judge for 20 years. Everyone knew him. Everyone respected him. He was the most powerful man in the room. The girl stopped right in front of his tall desk. She looked up at him. Judge Randall frowned. "Young lady, this is a courtroom. You can't just walk in here. Where are your parents?" The girl didn't blink. "I don't have parents." "Then who brought you here?" "Nobody brought me. I came by myself." The judge let out a tired sigh. "Listen, child, I'm very busy. We have important work to do here. You need to leave." The girl shook her head slowly. "No, I came here for you." "For me?" Judge Randall raised his eyebrows. Some people in the courtroom started to giggle. "Yes," the girl said. Her voice was calm and steady. "I came to tell everyone your secret." Now, people weren't giggling anymore. They leaned forward in their seats. Judge Randall's face turned red. "What are you talking about? I don't have secrets. Now, please, someone take this child outside." A guard started walking toward the girl, but she spoke again, louder this time. "I can read your mind." The whole courtroom went silent. Even the guard stopped moving. Judge Randall stared at her for a moment. Then he threw his head back and laughed. It was a big, loud laugh that echoed off the walls. "You can read my mind," he said, still chuckling. "That's a good one, kid. Did someone put you up to this? Is this some kind of joke?" Other people in the courtroom started laughing too, but not everyone. Some people just watched the girl with curious eyes. The girl didn't smile. She didn't laugh. She just stood there, looking at the judge with those bright, knowing eyes. "You think I'm joking," she said quietly, "but I'm not." "Oh, really?" Judge Randall wiped tears from his eyes. He was still smiling. "Okay, then, little mind reader. If you can read my mind, tell me what I'm thinking right now." The girl tilted her head to the side. For a long moment, she said nothing. The courtroom was so quiet you could hear people breathing. Then the girl spoke. "You're thinking about your sister." Judge Randall's smile disappeared. His face went white, like all the blood had drained out of it. "What did you say?" His voice was barely a whisper. "Your sister," the girl repeated. "Claire." Someone gasped. Judge Randall's hands grabbed the edges of his desk. His knuckles turned white. "How do you know that name?" he demanded. His voice shook. "Who told you that name?" "Nobody told me," the girl said. "She told me herself." "That's impossible." Judge Randall stood up from his chair. He was much taller than the girl, but somehow he looked smaller now. "My sister, she's been gone for 5 years. She disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to her." The girl nodded slowly. "I know what happened to her." "You're lying." Judge Randall's voice cracked. "You're just a child making up stories." "Am I?" The girl took one step closer. "Then how do I know about the bracelet?" Judge Randall froze. His mouth opened, but no words came out. "The silver bracelet with the little blue stone." The girl continued. Her voice was soft but clear. Every person in the courtroom could hear every word. "The one your sister was wearing the last night you saw her. The one you hid under the floorboards in your study." "Stop it," Judge Randall shouted. He was breathing hard now, like he had just run a race. "Stop talking." But the girl didn't stop. "You think about it every night before you sleep. You think about where you buried it. You think about whether anyone will ever find it. You think about—" I said stop. Judge Randall slammed his hand down on the desk. The loud bang made everyone jump. The girl just looked at him. There was something sad in her eyes now, something old and tired. like she had seen too much hurt in the world. "I can't stop," she said quietly. "Not until everyone knows the truth." "Guards!" Judge Randall's voice was wild now, panicked. "Remove her! Get her out of here right now." 2 guards rushed forward, but before they could reach the girl, she spoke again. "Claire wants me to tell them what you did." Those words hit Judge Randall like a punch. He stumbled backward, catching himself on his chair. "She won't be quiet anymore," the girl whispered. "She's been screaming in your head for 5 years, and now she wants everyone else to hear." The courtroom erupted. People started shouting questions. Some stood up from their seats. The guards didn't know what to do, grab the girl, or calm everyone down. Judge Randall just stood there, shaking. All the color had left his face. He looked down at the small girl with the bare feet and tangled hair, and in her eyes, he saw something that terrified him. He saw the truth. "Who are you?" he whispered. The girl looked up at him without fear. "My name is Amara, and I hear the voices that nobody else can hear. I hear the people who were silenced, the ones who can't speak for themselves anymore." She paused. Then she said the words that would change everything. "And Claire has been waiting a very long time to tell her story." "Order! Order in the court!" The guard banged his stick on the floor 3 times. Slowly, people sat back down, but everyone was still whispering. Everyone was still staring at the small girl and the terrified judge. Judge Randall grabbed his water glass with shaking hands. He took a sip, but the water spilled down his chin. He wiped it away quickly. "This is ridiculous," he said, but his voice was weak. "This child is clearly disturbed. Someone call her guardians. Call social services. She needs help." "I don't need help," Amara said calmly. "But you do. I don't have to listen to this." Judge Randall turned to the guards. "I gave you an order. Remove her now." The guards moved forward again, but Amara raised her hand. Just one small hand, palm out, and somehow that simple gesture made the guards stop in their tracks. "Don't you want to know what happened to Claire?" Amara asked. Her voice echoed through the silent courtroom. "Don't all of you want to know where she went? Why she never came home?" A woman in the front row leaned forward. "I remember when Claire disappeared," she said. "It was all over the news. They searched for weeks. They never found her," a man added. "The police said she probably ran away, started a new life somewhere." Judge Randall grabbed onto that. "Yes, that's right. Claire left on her own. She was going through a difficult time. She wanted to disappear." "Liar." Amara's voice cut through the air like a knife. Judge Randall's face turned red. "How dare you? You told everyone she ran away," Amara interrupted. "But that's not what happened. Claire didn't leave. She died." Gasps filled the courtroom. People covered their mouths with their hands. "And you killed her," Amara continued. "No," Judge Randall roared. He pointed a shaking finger at Amara. "That's a lie. A terrible, evil lie." "Is it?" Amara tilted her head. "Then tell me why I can see everything that happened that night. Tell me why I can hear Claire's voice right now, telling me every single detail." "You're making this up." But Judge Randall's voice cracked. Amara closed her eyes. When she spoke again, her voice sounded different, older, sadder. "It was a Tuesday night," she said. 5 years ago. Claire came to your house. She was angry. She had found out about the money you stole from the charity fund, the fund that was supposed to help sick children. Judge Randall's face went from red to white in an instant. "She told you she was going to report you," Amara continued, her eyes still closed. "She said she couldn't protect you anymore. She said you had gone too far this time." "Stop," Judge Randall whispered. "You begged her not to tell. You said it would ruin you. You said you would pay the money back. But Claire said no. She said you needed to face the truth, face what you had done. Please stop." You grabbed her arm. She tried to pull away. You grabbed harder. She shouted at you. She said... Amara paused. When she spoke again, tears ran down her cheeks. She said, "You're not the brother I used to know. You become a monster. The courtroom was dead silent. You could have heard a pin drop. "Those words made you so angry," Amara said, opening her eyes. "So angry that you pushed her. It was an accident." Judge Randall's words burst out before he could stop them. Then his eyes went wide. He realized what he had just said. People started shouting. The guards moved closer to Judge Randall. "You push her down the stairs in your house," Amara said, her voice steady. She hit her head on the edge of the table. There was so much blood. She looked up at you one last time. She tried to speak, but no words came out, and then she was gone. A woman in the courtroom started crying. Other people looked away, their faces pale and sick. Judge Randall collapsed into his chair. His hands covered his face. "You panicked," Amara went on. "You didn't call for help. You didn't call the police. Instead, you waited until it was dark. Very, very dark. Then you wrapped Claire's body in an old blanket. You carried her to your car. And you drove to the river. How could you know this?" Judge Randall's voice came from behind his hands, muffled and broken. "How could you possibly know?" "I told you," Amara said simply. "Claire told me. She's been trying to tell someone for 5 years. But nobody could hear her. Nobody except me." Amara walked closer to Judge Randall's desk. She was so small that she had to look up and up and up to see his face. "You found a spot near the old bridge," she said, "where the bushes grow thick and nobody goes. You dug with your hands until they bled. You buried her there, and then you covered her with rocks. Big rocks, so animals wouldn't dig her up." Judge Randall was shaking now. His whole body trembled. "But you kept one thing," Amara said. "The bracelet. The silver bracelet with the little blue stone. Your mother gave it to Claire on her 16th birthday. You couldn't bury that, so you took it home. You hid it under the floorboards in your study, beneath your desk. Third board from the window. Third board from the window," Judge Randall repeated in a whisper. "You look at it sometimes," Amara said softly. "Late at night when you can't sleep. When you hear Claire's voice in your head, you take it out and hold it, and you cry." A tear ran down Judge Randall's face. "Every night, you hear her," Amara continued. "Every night, she asks you the same question. Why didn't you save me? Why did you hide what happened? Why did you let everyone think I abandoned them?" "I'm sorry," Judge Randall sobbed. "I'm so sorry." "Sorry isn't enough," Amara said. Her voice wasn't mean or angry. It was just true. "Claire's voice won't stop. It will never stop. Not until everyone knows what you did." Amara reached up and placed her small hand on Judge Randall's head. The moment she touched him, he went completely still. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened. And then everyone in the courtroom heard something impossible. A voice. A woman's voice. Quiet and sad and far away, like it was coming from underwater. "Randall," the voice said, Tell them what you did to me." Judge Randall's lips moved, but the voice wasn't his. It was hers, Claire's. "Tell them how you left me by the river," the voice continued through him. "How you went home and washed my blood off your hands. How you lied to my friends, my co-workers, everyone who loved me. Tell them how you stood at my memorial service and pretended to cry while you knew exactly where I was." "I didn't mean to." Judge Randall's own voice broke through. "Claire, please. It was an accident. I never meant to hurt you." "But you did hurt me," the voice said. "And then you buried the truth along with my body." Amara removed her hand from Judge Randall's head. He slumped forward, gasping for air like he had been drowning. The courtroom exploded into chaos. People were standing, shouting, crying. The guards surrounded Judge Randall, their hands on their weapons. But Amara just stood there, calm and still, watching, waiting for the truth to finally be free. Judge Randall sat in his chair like a broken doll. His fancy black robe seemed too big for him now. His face was wet with tears. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. "It's over," Amara said quietly. "You can't hide anymore." I... Judge Randall tried to speak, but the words got stuck in his throat. Just tell them, Amara said. Her voice was gentle, almost kind. Tell them the truth. Claire deserved that much. For a long moment, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Everyone waited. Then Judge Randall looked up. He looked at all the people staring at him. People he had judged from this very desk. People whose lives he had controlled with his decisions. People who had respected him. It's true, he whispered. What? Someone shouted from the back. Speak up. Judge Randall took a shaky breath. It's true, he said louder. Everything she said. It's all true. The courtroom erupted. People jumped to their feet. Some screamed. Some cried. The guards had to hold them back. I killed Claire, Judge Randall said. His voice was flat now, empty, like all the life had drained out of him. My sister. I killed my own sister. A young man in the third row suddenly stood up. He was tall and thin, with dark hair and red eyes like he'd been crying for a long time. You lied, the young man screamed. He tried to climb over the bench in front of him. Two people grabbed his arms to hold him back. You told me she left me. You told me she didn't love me anymore. You said she ran away without even saying goodbye. Judge Randall looked at the young man. Daniel, he said quietly. I'm sorry. Sorry. Daniel's voice cracked. Claire was going to marry me. We were planning our wedding. And all this time you knew she was dead. You knew. And you let me think she abandoned me. Daniel broke down sobbing. The people next to him held him tight as he cried. More voices rose up from the crowd. I was Claire's best friend. I spent months looking for her. I'm her cousin. We thought she was alive somewhere. You monster. How could you? Judge Randall closed his eyes. I panicked, he said. When she fell, when I saw all that blood, I panicked. I didn't think. I wanted it to go away. I wanted it to not be real. So you buried her like trash? Daniel shouted through his tears. You threw her in the ground and went on with your life? No. Judge Randall's eyes shot open. I thought about her every single day. Every hour. I heard her voice all the time, just like the girl said. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was dying inside. Good, someone yelled. You should have confessed, another person shouted. I know. Judge Randall stood up suddenly. His chair fell backward with a loud crash. I know. Don't you think I know that? But I was scared. I was a coward. I thought if I just kept quiet, if I just hid it well enough, maybe the pain would stop. Maybe her voice would finally leave me alone. He turned to look at Amara. But it never did it? She never stopped talking. Never stopped asking why. Why I let her die. Why I buried the truth with her body. Amara shook her head slowly. The dead don't rest when their stories aren't told. They stay trapped, stuck, waiting for someone to hear them. And you heard her, Judge Randall said. It wasn't a question. Yes, she found me 3 days ago. She led me here, to you, to this moment. Judge Randall let out a long, broken breath. Thank you, he whispered. Don't thank me, Amara said. Thank Claire. She never gave up. Even when everyone else stopped looking, she kept fighting to be heard. The head guard stepped forward. He pulled handcuffs from his belt. Judge Randall, I'm placing you under arrest for the murder of Claire Donovan. Judge Randall held out his hands without fighting. As the handcuffs clicked shut, he looked one more time at Amara. How old are you, child? He asked. 8, Amara said. So young, he whispered, and you carry such a heavy gift. It's not a gift, Amara replied. It's a responsibility. As the guards led Judge Randall away, Daniel pushed through the crowd. He knelt down in front of Amara. Tears streamed down his face. Is Claire really gone? He asked, his voice breaking. Amara reached out and touched his hand gently. For a moment, her eyes went distant, like she was listening to something far away. She says she's sorry she couldn't say goodbye, Amara said softly. She says she loved you more than anything. She says you made her happier than she ever thought possible. Daniel sobbed. I loved her too. I still love her. She knows, Amara said. She's always known. And she says, Amara paused, listening. She says it's time for you to let her go. She wants you to be happy again, to find love again, to live the life she couldn't. Daniel nodded, unable to speak. He squeezed Amara's hand once, then stood up and walked away, supported by his friends. The courtroom was beginning to empty now. People filed out in stunned silence. Some were on their phones, already spreading the news. Some just walked like zombies, too shocked to even think. A police officer approached Amara. She was a kind-looking woman with gray hair. "Sweetheart," the officer said gently, "we need to ask you some questions about how you knew all this, and we need to find you a safe place to stay." Amara looked up at her and smiled. It was a sad, knowing smile. "You won't find me if I don't want to be found," she said. "What do you mean?" But Amara was already walking away, her bare feet moving silently across the floor. She headed toward the big courthouse doors. "Wait," the officer called out. "You can't just leave. We need your testimony. We need to know where the body is." Amara stopped at the doors. She turned back one last time, checked by the old bridge, near the big oak tree, 3 feet down, covered with stones, and the bracelet is under the floorboards in his study. 3rd board from the window. "But how did you—" "I already told you," Amara said. "I don't just read minds. I hear the voices of people who were silenced, people who died with secrets, people whose stories were buried." She pushed open the heavy door. Sunlight streamed in, making her small figure glow. "There are so many voices," she said quietly, more to herself than anyone else. "So many stories that need to be told. So many people waiting for someone to hear them." The officer took a step forward. "Let us help you. You're just a child. You shouldn't be alone." Amara looked back with those bright, ancient eyes. "I'm never alone," she said. "I have all the voices with me. They guide me. They show me where to go, where I'm needed." "Will we see you again?" the officer asked. Amara smiled. "When there's another secret that needs to come out, when there's another voice that needs to be heard, when there's another truth that's been buried too long." And with that, she walked out into the sunshine. Her bare feet carried her down the courthouse steps and onto the sidewalk. People stared as she passed, but she didn't look at them. She just kept walking, her tangled hair flowing behind her like a dark river. Inside the courtroom, the officer stood at the door, watching until Amara disappeared around the corner. "Who was that girl?" someone whispered. The officer shook her head slowly. "I don't know, but I think we just witnessed something impossible. Do you think she's telling the truth about Claire's body? I guess we'll find out when we dig by that oak tree." They did dig. That very afternoon, a team of officers went to the old bridge. They found the big oak tree, and 3 feet down, covered with stones, they found Claire Donovan's remains, just like Amara said they would. They also searched Judge Randall's study. They found the silver bracelet with the little blue stone under the floorboards. 3rd board from the window. Just like Amara said, the news spread everywhere. People called it a miracle. Others called it impossible. But everyone agreed on one thing. Justice had finally been served. Claire Donovan could rest now. Her story had been told. Her voice had been heard. And somewhere in the city, a small girl with bare feet and tangled hair walked down the street, listening. Always listening. Waiting for the next voice that needed her. The next truth that needed come out. Because some secrets are too dark to stay buried forever. And Amara would always be there to bring them into the light. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more mysterious tales that will keep you up at night. What did you think of Amara's gift? Drop a comment below and let us know. And remember, some secrets can never stay buried forever.